Today, I want to spend some time looking at the three crucial decisions we need to make following our evaluation process. Hello, my name's Paul Heron, and welcome to the From Zero to Marketing Hero podcast, my year-long challenge to myself to record and post a podcast a day for 12 months, all in the hope that I can finally start to master some of the skills required to bring my ideal client into my world on my own terms. Well, I've made it to day number 12. And it's the start of the Easter break. So over the next few days, my plan is to do some shorter episodes addressing some of the big questions that I have on my mind. And today is a follow-on from our conversation yesterday about evaluation. So yesterday, I identified that a lot of the efforts that I have been doing to date, including this podcast, I jumped straight into the action-taking phase. Just identifying where I was in that process was hugely beneficial for me. And yesterday, I spent some time talking to the evaluation piece. Today's question is really about what we want to try and get from this evaluation piece. We spoke about this marketing principle being a cycle that we just continue to flow through. And a key part of that cycle or a process is the actions we take. Another key part is the reflective piece that we do, the assessment that we do, the way that we go about evaluating the actions that we've taken. So what are the three questions that we need to answer as part of that evaluation process? The first question that needs to be answered is, was the action that we took a success? Was it successful? Are we getting the results that we expected from the actions that we're taking? I think there's a lot more to dive into here on answering this question specifically. But at a high level, again, it is really, through our evaluation process, have we evaluated the right criteria? What was the original purpose of the actions that we took? Was it brand awareness? Was it a test to try and reduce expenditure or reduce costs on a particular function? Or was it just to increase brand awareness? And have we evaluated in a way that has met the objective of the original task? The second critical question we need to ask at the end of our evaluation process is, does this particular action that we took still fit within our strategic marketing plan? As you know, a lot of this stuff is really new to me, but I guess this really does make sense. I spoke during the week about having these various different puzzle pieces and needing to be strategic about laying them out and making sure that they form a cohesive flow, all coming together to produce the overall results that we want, which in my case is identifying my clients' problems and needs and designing products around meeting those needs, having them become aware of who I am and my message, building trust and flowing through to conversations being started. So we need to look at each individual piece that we're working on and assess whether this still fits into that overall plan that we're trying to build towards. As I say, I'm new to this, but I can sort of see that it's possible for us to run a particular or take a particular course of action. We might be testing some shorts or particular content on our website. And in some ways, we might get successful results depending on how we're measuring it. But if we're not continuously checking back into our overall strategy, then we run the risk, I guess, of putting time, energy, and effort into things that aren't directly fitting into the overall success of the plan as a whole. I feel like there's so much we could dive into here, and I'm sure I will in future episodes. But I guess all of this sort of comes down to the final question or decision that we need to make after this reflective piece that we do. And that is effectively, am I going to continue working and tinkering and developing this thing, or is this thing something that should be just scrapped? I think all this stuff is really important. And if I apply it back to where I am, I mentioned during the week about I've started taking action on a few of these endeavors that I'm embarking on. But one of the challenges I have about jumping in sort of midway through that process is through my evaluation phase right now, I don't really have anything to test these off. I can imagine myself going through this process a couple of times, and it's going to be a bit of a different type of evaluation. If I am trying to evaluate the number of subscribers that I get per month, for example, once I've been through this process a few times, I can sort of see what I have done in the past. I've been through a couple of cycles. I can see what I've done in the past and actually see some results. So I can cross-reference those results to the specific actions I took and try and evaluate what's working and what's not quite going to plan. But then when I go to improve, I go to the next month and try and improve on those figures, I've got something to reference against whether the new set of actions I'm taking are working. So I think for me personally, this evaluation piece, just thinking about this right now is so powerful. I can already see certain results. I'm thinking about, what else it would be nice to know. But most importantly, I'm just thinking about getting back to pulling whatever I can out of the data that I've got so far, the information I've collected so far, and just start to have a think about, okay, how can I improve this? How can I make some small changes to the processes that I'm applying in the hope of beating some of these little processes? And I think this is where the power is going to be. It's, we spoke during the week has been predominantly from this zoomed out level. I think this sort of becomes, really focusing in on individual pieces of the puzzle and testing different alternatives, testing different options and seeing what we can do to make improvements. But equally, these three questions are all really, really relevant. Are we testing and measuring the right things? Does it fit into the overall plan or marketing plan that we're trying to work towards? And, is this thing that I'm working on worth pursuing, or do I need to start again, go back to the drawing board? And I think if we can answer these three questions, this is going to play a huge role in coming back to that research phase as informed as we can be and start that process of repeating the cycle. Okay, guys, that's all I've got time for today. I hope everyone out there listening has a fantastic Easter. I am going to continue to post every day through this period. I did say at the start of this particular recording that I might try and keep these podcasts over the Easter break a little bit shorter and answering specific questions. I think this has gone a bit longer than I expected, but that's okay. Over the next couple of days, I might focus in on, some of the more specific questions that are on my mind and see how we go from there. So if you resonate with these questions or anything else that I'm talking about, please reach out and let me know. I'd love to hear from you. You can do that through the Facebook group or reach out directly to me. If you are enjoying the podcast, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps. And until tomorrow, bye for now.